Hi, Steve here. Welcome to video 2 on TopPick software. Now, you should be watching this video if you are interested in UK, Ireland, France, South African, Hong Kong, Singapore or US, or some other countries like Japan and Sweden. This will show you what it covers and to what extent of those countries. Now keep in mind, if you want to bet Australia and New Zealand, watch video 1 above. It's more in depth and it gives you a bigger account, especially with there's no greyhounds. If you're looking at these countries here, there's no greyhound racing covered, and harness racing's only covered a little bit in France and a little bit in the US. So let's have a look. What's covered? What does TopPick cover in those countries apart from Australia and New Zealand? Okay, in the UK we do most racing, not night racing, mainly because this is designed for the Australian betting public, and of course night racing happens at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning Australian time, and obviously not many people up watching racing or betting at that time. There are no greyhounds covered in the UK with this software. Same with Ireland. Most of the big meetings are covered, but nothing that's running at night or late into the evening. France, we have some horse racing and some harness racing. South Africa, we have most of the major racing from the Vale, etc. And then Hong Kong and Singapore, once again we have most of the horse racing happening again. USA has a small amount of harness and horse racing, but certainly if you are betting in USA only, then I would not recommend the software, as you would not get your value because of this small amount of meetings covered. Okay, so having said that, let's launch into video 2 and show you what is covered in these countries now on the TopPick software. I will assume that you haven't watched video 1 and just give you a rundown here on the software. The software, as you see it here, has actually been reduced. It does take up your full screen to give you a much easier surface to work on, but I've reduced it down so that I can show you in this video. Okay, so first of all, when you first start, you go into launch meetings and you get today's racing and tomorrow's racing. Now for international racing, there is nothing appearing on the second day. It only gets loaded up on race day. So for example, if we went into Friday, there's nothing, none of the overseas meetings are covered there, but they will be, come Friday, they will be loaded up, and that's Friday Australian time, so it would be late at night the preceding day if you're in the UK. So if we go to today's date, Thursday, go into racing, we can see there we've got meetings obviously in Australia and New Zealand, but we've got meetings in France. There are 2 meetings in France, Bath, Beverley, Tipperary in Ireland, and then we've got Warwick, Perth and Southall, mainly because obviously it's a bank holiday over there now today, so St George's Day, so we've got a lot of racing happening, and of course at the Vale, South Africa there. So you can see there's quite a lot of meetings there. If we go to Bath, let's have a look at Bath for example. Bath is a night meeting or a late evening meeting, and we are only covering 4 races, because by the time race 5 comes it's going to be very late. In fact, if we go to race 4, we click on race 4, these times here, now all the times are Australian Eastern Standard or Summer Time. So this, for example, is 3:25 in the morning, in Saturday morning's time. So with Australian racing, everything's numbered because we can't use times here because we have 5 time zones in Australia. So basically what happens is, if you're using it for the UK, you'd have to go through the races and mark them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just so that you know what race it is, although we have got the name of the race there. Okay, if we look at a meeting, Beverley is a day meeting, so we've got seven races covered there. Let's look at Tipperary. we can see there is a late start, so there's only 3 races covered in Tipperary, because by the time we get to race 3, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in Australia. Okay, we look at Warwick. You'll find a full meeting in Warwick there because it's a day meeting. Perth. Okay. Perth, once again, 7 races there. And so, being a night meeting, I assume it'd be a night meeting. Let's have a look. Just waiting for it to load. Okay, only 2 races, because you can see there the first race is at 2:35 in the morning Australian time, and 3:05. So anything that's going to be 3:05 our time here is not going to be covered. Okay, so that's keep in mind with the UK and Ireland. You've obviously got, you're not getting a full coverage of racing, so just keep that in mind if you decide to invest in Top Pick. If we go to the French meeting, we can see there we don't get the first 2 races, but we get from race 3 through to race 8. Okay, and the other French meeting, we are getting 7 races there. Okay, and we go down to South Africa for the people playing in South Africa. South Africa, we generally get all the races from South Africa. Okay, so if you're betting South African races, rest assured you can get that. Not showing here now, it's Hong Kong and Singapore, but we get all the Hong Kong races and all the Singapore races. So if you're doing those, then rest assured you are going to get them all. Okay, so now let's just go into the meeting. Let's go and have a look at the Bath meeting, for example. First things we look at, let's have a look at here. We have the number of the horse, the last 5 starts of the horse, the runner. If you hover mouse over it, you can see there is the run of the last 2 starts, so we can quickly get and find out how the horse went the last 2 starts. The barrier position, the trainer, the track, the course, track and distance, and wet, which one in the wet. This column here, the API, is the average prize money index. So we can click on the top here and arrange these in order up or down. And as we do them, you will see, if I go to another one here, you'll see that the graphic above changes. Okay, so the graphic represents the column, the top rated down to the worst rated is if we click on the column. Now, as I said, I've reduced this down, but in the full form of it, you would see all the columns. It takes up the full screen of your computer. So we've got different ratings here: form ratings, performance rating, the jockeys. So you can sort by jockey if you want to find a jockey quickly. You can use that. Okay, we've got consistency rating. Now the weight of the horses is, as I said, it's built for Australia and New Zealand. These are in kilograms. Okay, the class difference telling you if it's equal, stronger. So if the horse is running in a, this one here is running in a stronger race than last time. Some of these are running an equal race. It's a very good guide. This one down the bottom is running in a weaker race than it last started at. Now with the overseas here, the speed ratings are not to be used. The speed ratings are not set for overseas racing. It's only set for Australian and New Zealand conditions. BR is a good rating. It's a combination of these ratings here, and it's one that I use a bit, the BR rating here. Okay, so once we click on the BR rating, it tells us here, we go down here, that Miss Inga Sop is the best rated horse, 1.86, and we can see that in the graphic there. The other thing that we've got here with the software, if we click on the individual horse, we get some information on the horse here. So we get its last 20 starts, its prize money, the track conditions it's run on, the class equal or stronger, it tells us what's happening there. Okay, so we've got all that, and then it gives us the last 5 runs, the margins, the venues, the date, the distance, the class, the weight, the jockey, the odds that it started that last race. That's race I mean. And then this is the comment, Stuart. So if you see a little cloud, you can say there eased out in the race in the straight. Time, the in run. We don't have the in run for the UK, and this rating here doesn't work either. So you are getting a limited amount when you're using the UK form. If we look at the trainer, we get the trainer stats. Now these stats are a little bit a week or so behind, but still giving you a good indication on what these trainers can do on different tracks, different areas. Trainer with the jockey, okay. Joe Hughes with Martin Dwyer there. We can see there has a win ratio of 7.5. Okay, and then we can also go along here and click on the jockey and see what the jockey performances are like as well. Okay, so they are all there. The other thing that's good here is the quick form. So if you don't want to click on each one and finding out, you can just go to quick form and you can get all the stats there from 1 right through to the last horse there. And the stats are quite good. Once again, as I said, we don't have the in running, which we do have on the Australia and New Zealand horses. But you've got the stewards results there, and a small write-up there on how the horse went in its last starts and what they think of it for this start, for this race. Okay, all the distances are metric, and prize money is in Australian dollars. Okay. And we have export, so you can export these results anytime you want. Okay, and if we look at race odds, the race odds are only reflecting Australian bookies. That's not Ladbrokes UK or William Hill UK. This is Australian. So I would not go too much on these because the markets would be very, very thin. So I would not use the race odds when you're doing UK and that. Media links, these are good in the racing radio and that. If you're going to use it for Australia and New Zealand racing, but obviously for overseas racing, the media links are no good. Import data, you would need to import the BR rating. Now, by clicking on that, you can download the BR rating when you download this software if you purchase it. So import that into your software. The greyhound tracks, unless you're betting Australia and New Zealand, would not worry about them at all. The administrator and user you don't get to use because that's they're only the rating. They're only available to me as the administrator. Okay, so that is the UK. If we look at South African racing, we have the quick form, which tells us all that we need to know to make a informed decision. Okay. Once again, the same with the odds. I wouldn't worry about looking at the odds up here because they're only the Australian bookies, and we're not carrying a lot of money for the South African racing. If we go to Ireland, once again, Ireland will have the same quick form. And if you clicked on the horse, you will get obviously the same sort of things that we've just looked at. So keep in mind, if you're only going to use quick form for top pick, for UK or Ireland racing, you're not going to get full advantage of it. Okay, South Africa, it's the same. You're going to get all your fields and stuff like that. You're just not going to get the diversity of the ratings, and the race odds will not be of any use for you. As far as harness racing goes, we get very little. There's American harness racing, and we get some French racing as well. Although this is I'm pretty sure this is a French race, a French harness race anyway. Can't really tell, trying not being into French racing, I couldn't tell you. But if there's French racing, harness racing, it'll be here only on the day. Okay, a quick look at the Singapore racing form in topic. Singapore has all the features that Australia and New Zealand's got. If you look across the card there, we've got the API, the class difference, win percentage, all the ratings. What it doesn't have, obviously, it doesn't have the speed peak, speed maximum, and last speed ratings. These are not calculated for Singapore. As with most overseas countries, we don't have the speed ratings for these countries. BR is still there, the graphs and that still work. Quick form we see is still there. In depth with the Stewart's comments and that all there. You may see here, if I just expand out a bit, the in running. You'll see some horses have got in running and some horses haven't. The horses that got in running are ones that have come from, you can see here, these ones, this horse has come from Australia, and these are Australian races. That's why the in running form is there. This is a horse been racing in Singapore extensively, no in running. And we've got another horse I saw up here. Here's one that's been running in New Zealand. So it's New Zealand runs there have got in run form. But once it gets to Singapore, you can see there's no in run form there. Okay, so that is Singapore. So it has a fair range of stuff, and all the meetings are covered in Singapore. So if you're betting in Singapore, then obviously Top Pick is a good software for you. Just one more thing too, Singapore, I forgot to mention, does have the trainer statistics, as you can see there. And if we go to the jockey, statistics are there also. Just one other thing, B. Parnham has only just gone to Singapore, and sometimes you may get this error thing. Just click on continue. Just that there was no information for him, that's why that's come up. Okay, and there's another jockey there. So Singapore does have those as well. As I'm doing these videos and that, for Hong Kong, there's no Hong Kong racing at the moment, so I can't show you that the layout and what the software covers in Hong Kong, but it is the same as Singapore. So we've got the jockeys, we've got the trainers, we've got the horses, we've got the stewards' comments, we've got their last start race comments. So it's, as you see, Singapore, that's what you'll get for Hong Kong also. Okay, so thanks for watching these videos, and I do hope that you see the merit in this very valuable software. Thank you on behalf of Michael and myself, Steve. We wish you all the best. Cheers.